Hey, how's it going? Hope everybody's doing well. Um, just going through a motivational video, motivating myself at the same time. I worked out earlier today, and then I'm trying to motivate myself to work out again at 9. So instead of doing it by myself, thought I'd record. We're gonna do it together.
A real smart guy.
So this is the David Goggins never quit mindset.
And what I mean by that is I was born with ADD, ADHD. My brain cannot retain information. I'm not some genetic freak when it comes to running, when it comes to lifting weights. I am absolutely the bottom of the barrel. And people will never believe me. And they can just, whatever, believe what you want to believe. So when you ask me this question about what does studying look like for me, I have to go over the same page over and over and over and over again. While Jennifer can look at that page while she's, quizzing me, she'll learn it right then as she doesn't know anything about it. She will quiz herself or quiz me and learn it as she's quizzing me. It's the most frustrating thing in the world how my brain works. So what I do is I literally sit there with a pen and paper and I have my books and I go through and have to write everything down every single day. I will study the same page until it's photographic memory from writing the same thing down. And then from there, I'll go back through and relearn again.
So what I get from that is looking within, being honest with yourself, no excuses, right? So we take for granted, what I'm saying, that some of us can just pick it up right away. They hear it once, we got it. Read it once, we got it, right? But David, he's unable to retain information. So he has to write everything down, like he said, right? No excuses. And pretty much put it in his subconscious mind. So it's like he said, like his photographic memories in his subconscious mind. It's just like shooting in the gym, 2,000 shots, right? So it just becomes, you don't even think about it. It's just in your subconscious mind, right? Muscle memory. So that's the definition of not making excuses, right? Because for him to get an A in the class, he has to work 100 times as hard there than you. So that's what I get from that.
So I'll learn the bulk of it, but then I'll go through and learn the small things within that. So if it's a medication, I'll learn what the medication does. I'll learn how to even say the medication, because these medications aren't like albuterol. No, it's very big words. So I'll go through, learn how to say the name. Then I'll go through, learn what the dose is. Then I'll go through, and this is like every single day. It's not like, oh, I got it. Let's just go through. No, nothing is I got it. Every single thing. I can't wait to get in this conversation, because everything I do in life, it sucks. Everything I do in life, it sucks. That's why when I was 300 pounds and 24 years old, it wasn't like I had some big epiphany of, let's just go be a Navy SEAL and let's lose some weight. No, I knew my entire life was going to be a struggle, which is why I just ignored it. And I said, I'm not even trying to jump off into this and learn how to read, how to write, how to memorize, how to become something I am not. But through that process, something happened to me. And I realized this is why I feel sorry for no one. Because people are going to think that I am maybe lying or maybe fibbing or exaggerating. No, I was the lowest form on earth. No talent, no ability to learn. And I literally know what it is to be rock bottom and to build that up. The road to success is rarely a straight line. For me, it's always been more like a maze. Many times when I thought I'd finally cracked the code, had it all figured out and found the straight path to certain victory, I hit a wall or got spun into a turnaround. When that happens, we have two choices. We can stay stuck or regroup back up and try again. That's where evolution begins. Hitting those walls time and again will harden and streamline you. Having to back up and formulate a new plan without any assurances it will ever pan out will tune your say up and develop your problem, solving skills and your endurance. It will force you to adapt. When that happens, hundreds of times over the course of many years, it is physically exhausting and mentally draining, and it becomes damn near impossible to believe in yourself or your future. A lot of people abandon belief at that point. They swirl in the eddies of comfort or regret, perhaps claim their victimhood, and stop looking for their way out of the maze. Others keep believing and find a way out, but hope to never slip into a trap like that ever again. And those skills they'd honed and developed wither. They lose their edge. I am always on the hunt for another twisted pretzel of a maze to get lost in, because that's where I find myself. The smooth road to success is of no use to savages like me. That may sound ideal, but it won't test us. It doesn't demand belief, so it will never make us great. We all build belief in different ways. I clock countless hours in the gym, where I log thousands of reps and run and ride my bike obscene distances to cultivate belief. Despite what you may think, I don't consider myself an ultra athlete because those races are not who I am. They are tools. Each one provides me a stockpile of faith. So when I get stuck in the maze of life like a broke down savage, I still believe I'm capable of achieving my unreasonable goals, such as becoming a smoke jumper at 47 years old, no matter what society or the good doctor says. I don't mean to suggest that you must run 100 or 200 miles to believe you have what it takes to get where you want to go. That's what I had to do based on the depth of the darkness I came from and the scale of my ambitions. But if you've lost it, you do need to find your way back to belief. Whatever it takes for you to believe that you're better than good enough to achieve your dreams is what you must do. And remember, your greatness is not tied to any outcome. It is found in the valiance of the attempt. I'm an artist.
All right, so that was a lot of information there, right? The thing about David Goggins is that he's speaking from experience. He's not just reading from a book of what you should do, or a doctor that says you need to lose weight when they need to lose weight themselves, right? He's not that type of person. And then he spends a lot of time alone, right? Focusing on his goals, trying to be the best version of himself, right? So he's in deep thought. You know, if you ever had a good workout in, you have some clarity, you have some enhanced awareness going on, right? So a lot of these things are really good perspectives, really good advice, especially from experience. But the reason why he said he doesn't feel sorry for you, right? I think that is because that if you read his books, man, he has to overcome a lot of trauma. I mean, a lot. He could have. It's so many things that could have just stopped him, right? He mentioned the ADD, right? But he also has the physical limitations, right? He had the thing in his heart. He had a hole in his heart. He couldn't swim. He just swinked it. Like all of these rare things. He couldn't swim. He just one of those people that just sunk to the bottom, and he wanted to be a Navy SEAL. There's a lot more other health issues and stuff, and then the trauma, right? So this guy overcame everything, right? Well, not everything, but a lot of things that people that keep people down, right? So David Goggins is one of those people that a lot of people look up to for inspiration, because he can relate to a lot of the people that, you know, dealt with some unfair circumstances that they weren't in control of, you know, and then they had that victim mentality, But then this guy's an example of overcoming that the best of his ability. So it's great inspiration. I go to David Goggins all the time, like a lot of people do. So,
and every day I'm painting Mona Lisa. Every day, but it's a different one. It's not the same painting. So every day I wake up, even though I do the same thing, it takes a different way to get there. So every day in my mind, I'm going through my mind. I'm just like, and a good painter will not just paint. He needs to create. And you can't create with phones and everything going around you. So you got to block yourself off. You only do 2 podcasts in a year. You block yourself off and you're painting this thing inside, and you're going through all these different colors of paint and everything else. And you can only figure out the right painting if you spend the correct amount of time in your brain. So every single day, I'm literally going through my mind and I'm painting. I'm creating this masterpiece. And the masterpiece is always myself. But to do that, you cannot have any distractions.
yeah. So the goal, especially David Goggins' goal, is to be the best version of yourself. He mentioned before that when he's all done, and you know, he's gives an example where God looks at his life and look, you know, what he could have done and what he did. He wants to exceed those expectations. He doesn't want to have regrets. Oh, you could have been this, you could have been that if you would have just believed in yourself. So that's kind of the goal of everybody, to be the best version of themselves. And it takes almost the entire time, because you have a lot of different things that represent you, right? You have your physical self, right? You have your emotional self, right? Your mental self, right? And then you have things that you're involved in that you want to be the best in. You want to be the best father, son, you know, best at your job. So it's a full-time job, you know, becoming the best version of yourself. It really is. And that's the goal. And that is the goal. So,
because if you're talking to an artist and he's trying to think about the next painting, he can't. It's impossible to listen to you and listen to what your mind and body are telling you we must do. People don't do enough of. They don't do any of it. They don't have passion. They lack passion, drive, determination, because you haven't spent time with yourself. Your mind will tell you what is next, but you haven't spent the time to go, all right, let me just figure this out. You're looking.
You know, that reminds me that, you know, even I fall victim to this, is that silence, meditation, looking within is necessary. You know, I mean, you have people nowadays, many people that need to be stimulated by something constantly, right? But to really get to know yourself, I mean, without all of that is very important, right? Especially if you're dealing with stuff, because you can run away from a lot of different things. I'm fine. And a lot of times staying busy is like avoidance, right? And then whenever you're silent, you know, you get uncomfortable because you have to face those things. And this is what he's kind of talking about.
Let me Google this and let me Google that and you're not going to find it there, because there's billions of people in this world and they're all supposed to be individuals. We have a pack mentality. That's why you're so fucking lost. Why am I so unique? I'm being exactly what the fuck I was supposed to be. I ain't follow shit. And when I did follow shit, I was like everybody else. The second I said, okay, man, hang on, dude. You don't like this, you don't like this, you don't like this. Who are you, David Goggins? Who are you supposed to be? Miraculously, all of these things just, I couldn't even, the list of shit I had to do just wham. It's like, fuck, okay. Wow. Once you sit down with yourself and say, okay, I don't want to be like Michael Jordan or Jim Brown. They both were on my birthday, so I looked at their birthdays. Like, oh, maybe I can be one of these. I can't. I'm going to be David fucking Goggins. And that looks like this. It just came, everything.
You know, that's a good point, because how it's all like put together is that no one is going to be good at everything, right? It has to be like that on purpose, right? So you're going to have people that have awareness, you know, some people, the gifts just range, right? But like no one has all the answers, and we kind of got to work together. And that's the whole point of it, gets to learn how to work together in unity so we all can grow and expand as a collective. But that's another good thing about YouTube, is that YouTube provides a platform where everyone can kind of share their notes, like David Goggins is sharing his notes of what he does, right? And then you can take what resonates with you, and then you can grow, and then you have your experiences, and you can kind of share that to the next person, and then we all can build up off of each other, like, you know, and whatever you're interested in, you know, because of the algorithm, you know, people have different algorithms, but it's really good because, like, for example, The Rock shows exactly what he does every day. I'm in training. This is my workout. You can kind of get Tom Brady. You know, you can kind of get what it takes, right? And to be honest, I'm blown away about the dedication it takes to be successful at the top, right? For example, right? Typically people work out 5 days a week, right? 30 minutes cardio, whatever, right? So I do like 30, 45 minutes on the Peloton, right? Then I go to Ray Lewis's Instagram page, right? And Ray Lewis, the football player for the Ravens, right? I'm from Baltimore, so I guess that's kind of known, but yeah, Ray Lewis. And he did 2 hours, right? And I'm just like, I'm just like, whoa. Then you hear Michael Phelps. He didn't miss a workout in like 4 years when he was training, right? And I don't know how hard an Olympian workout is, but I'm sure it's like brutal, right? And then the reason is that he realized that in that world, if you take 1 day off, it takes two steps back. So he couldn't afford to take 2 steps back. So he had to work out every day, right? And if you work out, you understand the mentalness it takes, right? So the first day, it's pretty easy, right? You have motivation. I'm going to get my life together and stuff. Then you get sore. Then, you know, you fight through. Then you get sore, all right? And then you fight through. And then you feel like that you earned a day off, right? I earned a cheat meal. I earned this, I earned that, right? And then you got to fight through that while being sore again, you know? So it's like, I couldn't imagine overcoming that mindset every single day. And then there's people like professional athletes that do that. And then there are no cheat days, right? And it's just unbelievable the dedication they are to that craft and what they put in their body. They would like, I'm not a big soccer person, but I just seen a soccer thing on Instagram where he was like really proud of his son, you know, being a soccer player too. But then like his son like drunk a Coke, and he's just like, if you want to be the best, you can't do that. You cannot drink. You know what I'm saying? So it's just showing how perfect, I guess, you got to be if you want to be the best. How mentally tough and how dedicated and how focused you have to be. You know, because it's one thing to be the best version of yourself, right? That's a great thing to do. But there's another thing to compete with everyone else who's the best version of themselves, right? That's a whole nother level. You know, there's a lot of people, you realize that when you're in college, right? There's a lot of people who are like 6'9" that are not in the NBA, right? And you ask yourself, why aren't you in the NBA? Why aren't you in the NBA? Because it takes so much of your time and practice and dedication and to be a professional athlete. It's way bigger than just being 6'5" or 6'6", right? It's unbelievable. I mean, to even get to that level is just so difficult, and that reminds me with the Bronny James situation, right? So to me, right, Bronny's already more successful than anyone, right? He's already a multimillionaire on his own, and he's pursuing his dreams and he's putting the work in, and he's a young man, and I feel like that we should support him. I feel like there's a lot of people that are, but it's kind of like, it's kind of weird, the criticism that's being faced over someone that's trying to pursue their dreams and actually putting the work in, saying the right things, doing the right things. And it kind of, to me, rubs me off the wrong way. Because it's like, did we come to this as a people? Like, this is ridiculous. We're really talking about somebody who's way more successful than anyone that than us, and then out of his own, you know what I'm saying? And then he's a good kid, and he's pursuing his dreams. He's putting the work, and that's everything you want your son to do. That's everything you want you to do, right? And then you have someone that's doing that, and then you turn them down, despite the outcome, because he's successful regardless of the outcome. He's multi-millionaire, will continue to be a multi-millionaire, and just wanted to put that in the air too, because that was kind of something that was bothering me.
Thing flooded. So every single day of my life, there's a different thing that comes up that I have to do. We've all experienced it before. There's something we have to do, but even though we know this, we can't convince ourselves to sit down and get it done. Instead, we are overwhelmed with all of the distractions surrounding us. Our thoughts run rampant, eclipsing the voice in the back of our head, telling us to get back on track. We feel out of control, like we can't take charge of our own actions. Temptations are all around us, and foolishly, we keep giving in to them. If this scenario resonates with you, then you are more than likely suffering from a lack of self-discipline. Self-discipline is all about being able to have control over yourself and what you do, say, or think. Because we live in a society that prioritizes pleasure over logic, we fail to realize that self-discipline is integral to our success in life.
And I don't know David Goggins, of course, right? But I like to think that having mental strength and self-discipline, I believe that's part of genetics. I really do. I believe some people have it more than others, right? Some people are more motivated than others, right? But all champions somehow have self-discipline, right? From good motivation to bad motivation, that thing I suffer with a lot. The self-discipline part is hard for me, but knowing that I surround myself with people that are self-disciplined, to pick me up in that area. But yeah, so I would like to disagree that David Goggins is not the bottom, like he said, because if he has, this ability to be one of the hardest people alive, I don't think that's from the ground up. I think that's a gift in there, just my personal opinion. So,
without self-discipline, there's very little that we can accomplish, no matter how big our hopes and dreams are. We can't get to the place we want to be in life just by dreaming.
Yeah, another thing that I realize is that um, self-discipline, you know how if you just do things sometimes, right, it really doesn't do much, right? The only way to success is that discipline, man. That's the key. That is the key. Everyone who's been at the top, everyone who succeeded, they go back to that self-discipline. Like I mentioned before, Michael Phelps said he didn't miss a workout, an Olympic workout, in like 3 or 4 years, every single day. That is unbelievable. And you know how difficult it is to be young and to be a multimillionaire and to not go out with your friends, not party, not mess with girls, not, or whatever you want to mess with. When you're one of the most famous young people out like that, that's special. That's real special. A lot of people can't do that.
Achieving success requires action. Self-discipline is important for a variety of reasons, but the major one is the fact that having self-discipline can completely change the trajectory of your life for the better. You will not only be healthier and happier once you master self-discipline, you will also find that you are a much more successful person in business, relationships, and numerous other areas of life. Self-deprecation is no longer looked down upon. Rather, it is expected. We limit ourselves by downplaying our abilities, and as a result, many people do not realize the power that they have within them. No matter how much you feel like your abilities are lacking, you are capable of achieving great things, both in your professional life and your personal life. You have the strength deep inside you to fight your way through anything life throws at you, no matter how tough. Developing a strong sense of self-discipline can completely change your life. This is coming from someone who has experienced firsthand how self-discipline can lead to great success. Before gaining a strong sense of control over my life, I often felt hopeless and lost. Now, I am on track to achieve many great things, and I consider myself a highly successful person. I firmly believe that I would not have been able to achieve what I have today if it wasn't for the fact that I dedicated myself to learning about self-discipline and how to apply it to my own life. Every day, you know, it gets dusty. And every day, you don't start with the victories. You don't go, oh, this is nice. Look at my I love me wall. Let me clean up this little dusty. No, I go right for the things that are going to keep me buried. I go right there first, because if I don't clean those out first, the day doesn't start. So what he's saying to me is truth. And like I told you many times today, I can never figure out how to explain this people, because I'm not neuro nothing. I'm just a guy that said, okay, we got to start in the dungeon and we got to stay here for the rest of our lives. For you to become successful, the dungeon is a place that has to be clean. And it's the scariest place to be. That's why I'm misunderstood, because I'm speaking from the dungeon. That's why I am successful, because I go there every damn day. And that is the truth, what he says. It's the exact truth. Those cabinets are dusty, dirty, and scary as broken glass, dark, spiders, cobwebs, but most of all, your biggest fears. The biggest things that put you in the place you are today are in there. That's why we all like to keep them shut, even like to lock them up, act like they never happened. That's why you never grow. You never improve. You never have real conversations like we're having right now. Never. Oh, no. Let's not go there. I talk to so many people who tell me that. Let's talk about this. Because they'll tell me, but they can only say it once. And they'll say it in passing. They won't get deep in the weeds with it. Like, you can't just clean it. You gotta spit shine that motherfucker. You gotta relive it. every fucking detail of it. You can't just be like, oh yeah, my dad beat me, and it is what it is. Hey, it is what it is, motherfucker. It's killing you. It's taking over your whole fucking life. But that's the conversation. Yeah, my dad. Yeah, but I'm fine now, though. I'm good. Okay. All right. No, you ain't. You ain't fine. You ain't fine. This is real talk. People don't have that. So your boy's right. 100% right. Scary as shit. It's scary as shit. But it makes you who you're supposed to be. And that's the test. We forget. We think we're supposed to breathe air and have kids and pay the bills and shit. And we're like, what's this life about? That makes no sense. Being tested, my friend. Tests come when you have not studied. Tests come when you think that you're in a great place. That's the test. The test is every day of your life. And most of us fail because we don't know why we're here. Because we don't go inward to say, oh, you gave me a lot of shit to fix, man.
Let's go over another one real quick.
Tone, why should people join us on June 13th?
Because the game's changed. And I know that sounds trite.
I'm trying to build people up. I'm trying to armor their mind. I'm trying to get.
Oh, this is a whole interview. Let's not do that.
There's a moment when you say to yourself, it can't be done. Instead of backing down, you push yourself forward into the unknown.
At some point, everything's gonna go south on you. Then you're gonna say, this is it. This is how I end. Now you can either accept that or you can get to work. You just begin. You do the math, you solve one problem, then you solve the next one.
You know, that reminds me of, like, Tom Brady is dropping a lot of gems on how to win championships and how to be successful, right? And one of the things that I pick up on is that he uses some language, but it's probably like the edited version of it would be like, you don't just want to win when it's easy, right? You want to win when it's hard. So you have to train to win when it's hard. You have to learn how to win the games that don't go your way, right? And everyone tried to understand why Tom Brady, you know, if there was 20 seconds on the clock, 30 seconds on the clock, everyone thought that he could do it. And he did it, and he believed that he could do it. Right. And it's like, how do you get that confidence? You know what I'm saying? And he's given little pieces here and there. You can kind of put it together. But what I get from it is that he trained that way, trained his mind to overcome all obstacles, to believe in himself, to never quit, never give up, you know. And like, I think he said, forget pain. Forget it. You know what I'm saying? Forget that mind telling you to stop. And all the successful people kind of say it that way, but he kind of puts it together of what it takes to win. You know, and that reminds me with a lot of successful people is that they outwork everybody. Like even now, since they're rich, super rich, and they outwork everyone. They're always working on something. You know what I'm saying? And it's more than one thing. They wake up between 4 and 7 in the morning, work out hour or two, right? After that, they're working on their craft, right? They eat, maybe work on writing a book or doing interviews, eat, spend time with their family, go to bed. Eat, work out again, whatever their schedule is. It just seems like they're just outworking everybody, and it bothers me. It really does, because I'm like, wow, I should be doing that. Like, why am I watching TV? I need to get up and I need to get to it. So, all right, let's continue.
I want to remind y'all of the power of the mind. You can think your way into stress. You can think your way into misery, frustration. But if you change your mind to change your life,
You just have to decide in your mind what you want it to be.
The journey's not easy.
It's hard. It's hard to keep your spirits together. As we begin to look at what we want, what's going to be crucial for you is to look toward the future, and every time you find yourself saying that you can't do something, putting yourself down, being negative about you and the possibilities for you, you've got to literally catch yourself. And you've got to affirm to yourself in the process, hey, no, I can make it. There's some way this can happen for me.
We are in control of our mind. We believe it's the other way around. No, we put in our minds what we should do. We have to reprogram it and tell us, no, we're good. This sucks, but it's okay.
There is nothing in your life.
So I watched a video of a doctor, and I'm probably going to say this the wrong way, but the message is correct. Every time, so your brain is designed to just be comfortable and relaxed, right? It's like a survival thing, right? Oh, let's just relax in 70 degrees and just, be comfortable, right? But the problem is that there's no growth and comfort. So if you want to be better, you got to fight your mind because it's designed for that, for survival, right? So this doctor said that every time that you feel that way and you overcome that, there's something in your brain that gets stronger, right? And over time, that muscle, whatever is in your brain, gets really strong to the point where it's a lot easier to fight that voice in your head that's telling you not to go, not to do it, or whatever. And he said that, there's a relation with that, with the obesity issue that we're facing. Why it's so hard for me to do this and so hard for me, and that's true. Right? You're finding that it's true. It's actually a muscle or whatever it is, chemical, whatever. And it kind of puts it together because when you do start working out, right? For me too, it gets easier, once you get on a roll. But you take a week off, and then your mind's like, oh, it's so hard to get back there. Your mind's like, oh, that's so hard. Your body's going to hurt. Why don't you just start tomorrow? Or, if the workout only takes 30 minutes, 45 minutes, you might stare at it for 2 hours like, oh, that's so, I'll just do it later. Right. But when you're on a roll, it's like nothing. You can wake up, I'm gonna get on my workout. It's just part of it. It's like brushing your teeth. Right. And you wonder why that is because you strengthen that muscle, so.
That's worthwhile. That's quick and easy. Everything worthwhile is uphill.
You're never going to feel like it. It's your job to make yourself do the crap you don't want to do so you can be everything that you're supposed to be.
There is no passion to be found playing small and settling for a life that's less than the one you're capable of living.
What if you give it everything you have and you come up short? What if you get weak along the way and you throw in the towel on yourself, you surrender? What then? A lot of people become discouraged, they become frustrated, and they say, oh, what the heck? And they go back to doing what they were doing before, saying it doesn't work.
You're the captain, you're the master, you're the foreman, you're the general, you're the head. Don't give control of this to nobody.
You can always better your best. You can always go beyond anything that you have ever done. And so all you're looking for are new breakthroughs through practice and practice. You'll get better and better.
Easy doesn't pay well.
If somebody came and knocked you down, boom, and ain't nothing you can do about it. But if I come back a week later and you're still on the ground, we got a problem. And some of you say, Eric, it ain't my fault. You right. The way you were born, what happened to you is not your fault. But doggone it, you still on the ground after 20 years? You have absolutely nothing to do with what happened to you. It's not your fault. You got knocked on the ground. You had absolutely nothing to do with that. And I'm not blaming you for that. But if I come back a week later, you still on the ground, that's your fault.
You know, that's a lot right there. You know, that's so true. And that reminds me of your mind, right? So living in the present moment. So the past only exists in your mind, like your version of the past, right? It's gone. And the future isn't here yet. And then if it's not here, not only that it is not here, it's kind of waiting on you to do something. You, like, for example, if you decide to do anything, then the future kind of responds to what you do. So if you decide to, whatever your choices are, the future's already putting, you know, whatever your choices are to put together what the future is. There's so many different timelines that we're learning, you know. So you don't really have to worry about that too much, right? So being in the present moment is really something that I need to work on, and that we need to work on, because that's what you're supposed to be focused on. And that's really hard to do because a lot of people are haunted by the past, by the trauma, right? But if you just let it go, then it's gone, right? If you just let go of the anxiety about the future, then you can just live in the present moment and don't worry about, oh, if this is going to happen, if that's going to happen, or that, because it's kind of not set in stone, right? So why worry about it? We only die once. Everyone's going to die. So why not live while you're here, right? So
choose the hard path, the path of responsibility, hard work, and sacrifice. That ultimately leads to freedom.
Keep playing the game. Keep grinding. Keep working. And that other stuff will take care of itself.
Do you realize that every day you thought you wasn't gonna make it? Do you remember them days where you thought it was absolutely unbearable and you thought you wasn't gonna endure that one? Do you know that your survival rate for every last one of them bad days is 100%?
Success, guys, a very, very lonely road, man. Very few people are willing to endure the pain, the sacrifice, and the diligence to be successful. It's an uphill battle. Along that road, you're not gonna see too many friends. You're gonna see your shadow most often.
Get out of the...
You know, that's certainly true. When you're grinding, a lot of times you're alone, you know, but when you celebrate, that's when you know you're gathered with a lot more people, right? But I'm around a lot of grinders somehow. Like all my friends are like putting that work in. I don't know how it ended up this way, but I feel like that I'm the most out of shape of all my friends, and it won't be like that for long. But they're not, you know, doing the podcast. They're not posting on Instagram, but they're working every day. All my friends. So I could grind together, and I do grind together with some of my friends. But yeah, that's certainly true. You know, you ask a friend, hey, you want to run 10 miles, run 20 miles? Not many friends would say yes. But hey, you want to go? You want to go to the bar? You want to go here? Yeah. You know, so that's what that's about. We all experience that.
The soft and addictive comfort zone and get into the combat zone where you have to fight, where you have to dig deep. You have to be vigilant. You have to be on guard. You have to hold the line on the seemingly insignificant little things that shouldn't matter, but things that do.
When everybody is against you or don't believe in you no more, it's a lonely feeling. They look at you with that look and say, why don't you try something else? Why don't you give up?
There's been so many times in our lives where people tell you can't do something. Where would you be if every single time someone told you can't do something, you listened to them?
There will be times when you will feel alone and you will feel deserted, when you feel weak and you doubt yourself and other people will doubt you and you ask yourself, am I crazy?
There will be times.
You know what I realize is that if someone's calling you crazy, you could take it as a compliment because you're doing something so different than everyone else, or your perspective is so different, or you're just such before your time, or the dedication, the obsession that you have to achieving your goal. That crazy, somebody calls you crazy, man. That means you're on that path to greatness. I mean, as far as not if you're really crazy, but you get what I'm trying to say, right? I'm sure a lot of people call Kobe Bryant crazy, Michael Jordan crazy, right? That's what I mean. That Mamba mentality, that championship mentality. A lot of people I'm sure have called The Rock crazy, David Goggins, Kevin Hart, whatever. Ray Lewis, definitely. Right? So, yeah. Got to get in that crazy zone. Kevin Leveroni for that quote. All right, so let's keep it going.
When the darkness seems to consume everything, but don't let it consume you. Even in the darkest times, even in the strongest storms, even when the sun is blotted out and the world is falling apart, the darkness cannot extinguish your light. Your will, your determination, no matter what is happening, no matter how hard the fight is, as long as you keep fighting, you win. Only surrender is defeat. Only quitting is the end.
And believe and know within yourself.
And I wanna, there's a lot of people who are talented that don't make it to, I've posted a video on this, right? They don't make it to where they think they should be, right? But then we're learning the truth of that industry and those industries, and what it's beyond talent and the sacrifices and the unethical choices and what really goes on. And it shows that maybe that was a blessing that you didn't have to experience that, because there's a lot of people in that world that are sickly depressed, right? And it's so common. You look at them and you say, you have everything I ever wanted, right? Why aren't you happy? Or, and then you look at them and they're like super depressed, right? Because what they had to sacrifice, what they had to actually do, they just can't get over it. You know what I'm saying? And that's sad because they're talented, right? And they've been taken advantage of because of their talent. But it goes to show, to just believe in yourself. Whatever the outcome is, keep pushing if you want to. But don't be depressed if you're not a star, right? And you don't sell out arenas. Just try to be the best version of yourself. And that's good enough, right?
And don't doubt in everything in you that everything is going to be all right.
And then I gotta go. But the test thing is kind of, like I said, the future waiting you to make a choice. Is he gonna work out today, or is he not gonna work out today? Is he gonna study for that test or not study for the test? Well, if he studies for that test, we have this timeline where he gets an A. If he doesn't study for this test, we have a timeline where he gets an F, right? And that's kind of how that is. It's tests over and over, and there's different levels of responding to that test, right? There's different levels of truth. There's different levels of understanding. There's different levels of awareness. There's different rights and solutions to problems, right? And we'll leave it off as this. And there's challenges to old truths, to old solutions, and there's updates to that. And that's something that we're experiencing now. All right, guys. Well, it's 9 o'clock, right? It'd be messed up for me to do this video and not work out, right? So this will be my second workout on the day. You guys know I ride the Peloton, so let's get to it. Peace.